Welcome to I Do This for a Living, a show that asks how we can give as much time and energy to the things that matter as we do to the things that pay. Sometimes the things that matter pay, and we'll talk about that too. I'm Serenity Bohan, and I started this podcast so I could have work I love. Today, for the first time, we'll also talk about the other work I do, what I do in my billable hours. I haven't really talked about that much. It is in the market research industry. And today I'm going to talk to one of my all-time work besties, Ashley Rott-Nettleton. We met when I started in market research in 2020. She had been there for a minute and was immediately my mentor. But as we talk about in the episode, she very quickly became not just a coworker who helped me out with the work, but a true friend. And I really don't do well when I don't talk to her fairly often. And it has been a bit since we spoke because she's very busy with her company that she started in the industry. And we talk about that today too. And it was so good to hear from her again and get some of my laughter is the best medicine kind of conversation with her. So I can't wait for you to meet her. I can't wait for you to hear her story about starting her own business, but also several little milestones along the way that have given her real aha moments about how she wants to be at work and what she believes in and what's important to her. It's good stuff. Can't wait for you to hear it. Let's get to it. Hey, Ashley, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
I have been trying to get you forever, since the beginning of time. You're the main person I wanted on this show. In fact, I may never do an episode again. I got Ashley now. Okay, so
and yes, I'm so sorry it took so long. I'm glad that we're finally able to do this.
it's really true to the show. We're talking about work and how work is a big deal in our lives. And that's really what's been keeping you from me. Tell the people what has been keeping you from me. I mean, we haven't even chatted in a while.
I know.
So what is it that you do, Ashley?
Okay. So I started my own company about 2 years ago, almost exactly. So I'm the founder of Insight Recruit, and we recruit participants for market research and user experience studies. So when companies want to better understand people who use their products or services, we help find the right participants so researchers can have meaningful conversations that lead to better products and smarter decisions. And so these last 3 months have been just crazy busy with different projects that I've been working on, and that is why I have not spoken to you in a while.
And you run your own company, so it's not like you could hand it off. Here,
Yes,
somebody else do my projects. I can podcast with Serenity.
yes, that is very true, and it comes in waves. There's times where it's very slow, after the New Year, usually it's a little slower, so I probably could have done a very long podcast with you then. Um, but then it comes and then all of a sudden you have, you know, a bunch of projects at once. So you just learn to embrace it and you take advantage of this slow time and you prepare for the busy time.
We should have done a Q1 episode. It's so true.
That's
Didn't we used to work for someone who said Q1 was the busy time?
I think I've heard that every quarter is
Okay. So that's the deal.
I've never really figured out what quarter is truly busy or slow because I think everybody has a different opinion on that, so I'm not sure. I haven't figured it out yet.
That is funny. It's possibly whatever serves their purpose for the sentence they're trying to say.
That's very true.
Yeah. So could you briefly, or not briefly actually, but tell us who you are outside of that?
Outside of work?
She says there's nothing outside of work.
Um, okay, well,
Yes. Who would you tell, if you met someone at the ball game, who would you say you are?
okay, well, I'm a wife and a mom, most importantly. So I have 4 kids, all different ages. I have a 17-year-old, a 13-year-old, a 10-year-old, and an 8-year-old. And then my husband that I've just celebrated our 16th anniversary together. And honestly,
That's my
all
favorite
of
number.
my career or work choices have always been about creating a life where I can be present for my family. Um,
Beautiful.
so I've always, like, found remote jobs or just something to work around my family's lifestyle. So having my own company is sort of perfect with that. But outside of work and my family, I'm not sure if there's anything more
You have 0 hobbies.
I don't really have anything. I don't have time, honestly,
No.
for hobbies right now, but it's something that I would like to work on. I do like to travel. I travel a lot with my
Oh,
family.
yeah.
We're actually hoping to take our daughter to Japan next week. Um,
Oh my
and
gosh.
yeah, so we like to travel as a family.
Well,
But
if no one has told you, Ashley, that's enough. Like,
yeah,
you
that
don't
is
have to have more hobbies than that. You have a beautiful family that you make top priority. You have a great marriage, and traveling to Japan, check, check, check. I think you're good.
thank you. Yes, I'm very excited, although it's supposed to be ridiculously hot out there, so we'll see.
Oh, I never think about it
I
being hot
Yeah,
there.
July and August is the worst time I've read to go out there.
Oh,
I've been
shoot.
looking at the weather and it's like 93, 94 with a 60 or 70% humidity, so we'll see how that goes, but we're excited.
Oof.
So,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Um, I hope it's fun. I hope it's beautiful. You're just
Thanks.
taking one daughter?
Yes, our goal, because she's my 17-year-old, so she'll graduate next year. Our goal, my husband and myself, is to take each child on a special trip before they graduate, just
Oh, so cool.
one-on-one time with them, and for them to choose where they wanna go, and she chose Japan. So,
Oh
that's
my gosh, that's awesome. My
yeah,
cousin does that. Shout out to Caleb. I think Charity does that too, my sister. That is
yeah,
so cool. I love that idea.
thank you.
Everyone should do that. Okay, let's so I have not I'm using this episode, I'm using you
Mhm,
to finally tell the people what I do for a living because I never talk about it. But we're in the same industry, so it's a good time to talk about it. I'm a project manager in market research. Ashley is also in market research. We met because of market research. So let's tell the you kind of did. You told everyone what market research is. Companies want to know what the market or consumers
mhm,
think about, what drives their decisions, how they feel about their buying needs, et cetera, et cetera. And
yep,
so they hire market research consultancies to figure that out. I am largely on the pharmaceutical side. So it's often pharmaceutical companies preparing to launch a new product, um, or or something like that. And so they want us to interview doctors and patients who treat that condition or who have that condition and figure out, yeah, how they feel about things, what kinds of language they use to talk about the condition. And then they try to use that to help get their awesome um, disease solving solutions, disease solutions into the market so people know about them. So when you see those commercials, like, if you have this disease, here's a drug you should ask your doctor about. My market research might have led to that. It happens to me all
mhm.
the time. I think obviously my computer is listening to me because I see commercials for the companies I work with all the time. You're mostly, would you say mostly consumer, mostly B2B?
That's a good question. I would say maybe 60/40, like 60
Okay.
consumers, 40 B2B. We do
Okay.
sometimes do healthcare, like more like physicians, but not as frequently. But we also do like we'll find engineers or electricians. And then we also do find like everyday consumers, like people that we do a lot of like automotive studies. So, like people that own certain types of vehicles, or we can do something like a beverage study, like you drink certain types of juices. So, a variety of different topics or projects that we cover.
So I'm going to use this moment later. We're definitely going to link to you to if people would be interested in being in studies, there's a place they could sign up with you, right? To be
Correct.
like in a okay. So we'll do that. But I'm going to use this moment to explain to the world, like many people, when I got a job in market research, one of my sisters was like, I didn't even know that was a thing. And I
Yeah.
said, same. Neither did I. But so what you end up having is people who have no idea what market research is. And so
Mhm.
they've never done it. They don't. And then you have people, as we were chatting before I hit record, who try to scam the system. And they know market research exists. Market research will pay you for your opinions, people.
Yeah.
These companies will pay you to talk to a market researcher. And so when people learn that, they can try to make it a side hustle. Like, I'm just going to
Right.
sign up for all these studies and I'll just say what they want me to say so that I can get in the study. We do not want that.
No.
We do not want that. What you should think of market research, you the consumer, is just this cool thing that maybe you could do once or twice.
Yeah.
um, to share your opinion on something you're knowledgeable about. If it's a consumer study like Cheerios, like a product, then you are just going to be talking about your shopping experiences and how you buy. But there's also studies, when we say B2B, I mean business to business, right? Is that what I mean?
Yeah, and,
B2B.
like, just, like, usually, like, experts or professionals
Yes.
in that
So
industry.
if you're in a like people who listen to this podcast, like, are if you're in a job where I'm a this, I'm a that, this is what I do, there might be a market research study out there that needs your expertise. So
Yeah.
if you sign up for Ashley's newsletter or whatever, what you're going to get is, here's a study that's going on. We need this, we need that. And so don't think of it as something you can do often and all the time and make a ton of money at, but it can be really fun to talk about your job once or twice and then you get,
Yeah.
$100, $50, $200, something like that, to just talk to someone 30 minutes an hour or something like that.
Yep.
Um so that's what we want, is people who maybe don't know what it is, but they're willing.
Yeah,
That's
and honestly,
really the idea.
sometimes, like, not all the time, but I'm actually working on a project right now where one of the researchers, did this really large project, at the end of the year, and they're doing a phase 2 for the same client, and so they actually invited people back that they interviewed
Ooh,
last
yeah.
January, and they were just automatically qualified. They knew that they had a 90-minute session with them, and they wanted to invite them back for another 90-minute session. So that's definitely possible too. Another thing too, if you do sign up for our panel, really try my best to only reach out to you with relevant studies.
Nice.
So there's our survey to join our panel only takes about 2 minutes to complete, but that information we use to only send relevant studies. Like, we're not gonna take over your email and send you every study that comes in because it's a waste of time for you to do the surveys if they don't apply to you. So we really try to find relevant studies that we feel like you have a good chance of being a good fit for.
I love that. I've only worked in market research since 2020, but that is enough to know that there's a lot of crap out there. And
Yeah.
there's companies where you're going to get just spammed and you're not going to have any idea what a study really is about, and you'll get it all and you'll be,
Yep.
yeah. And so I highly recommend Ashley's company because she takes such care with things, which is what I want to talk about next, because I just want to talk about how I met you and how we became work besties and why I say I love you when we hang up, because I can't help it, because I love you so much. I told her once, I said, "Do you know when we hang up, I almost say I love you." She's like, "It's fine, you can,"
Yep.
because I do. Um, okay, so I was in 2020 when the pandemic hit and we all were working from home for a little while. I realized I loved it. I had done it when my kids were young, but now I didn't have kids at home and it was even better. It was just, I loved being home in my own space, and I was needing a job change anyway. And so I looked specifically for remote work, and that's how I found it on Flex Jobs, by the way. Flex Jobs is not a bad little organization to find remote work if anyone is interested. And I just stumbled into this job. I could see that probably I was qualified for, but I didn't really know what it was, you know? And it was market research and it was a recruitment company. So market research, um, there's companies that run the studies and do the moderating and create the reports for the company. And then there's companies that recruit the people and they tend to work for each other. So I worked for a company that did the recruiting. And Ashley was there already. Ashley really you practically grew up with that company, right? Like it started and you were pretty much there from the beginning?
I think I started, like, a few years after, but I would say,
Oh,
like, I
okay.
started, like, before they really took off with their growth.
Because I
Uh
remember, for instance, you weren't an employee at first
Yeah,
because they
no,
weren't,
that's
yeah.
true. I was a contractor, and then, yeah, when you came, like, everyone was brought on as an employee instead of a contractor. So, I was still, I would say, like, I think they were around maybe a couple of years before I started, but they were still
Okay.
very small. And then I joined, and then I think, like, within 6 months, like, they really grew and made everyone into employees instead of contractors, so
So when I was interviewed for for the job, I was told, okay, so what you do is you're a project manager. You'll get this study. You'll need whatever 18 people who qualify, and you figure that out based on the application that people take. And you find these 18 people, and lots of times there's little segments like we want 18 people who said yes on question 8. We want, 10 people who said no on question 8, something like that kind of stuff. And the people taking the application do not know those little specifics. And so they don't know if they're going to make it or not. And so you got to fill these little quotas. And so she's telling me this, and I said, so what will be the pain points of the job? Is it, for instance, when you don't have those little boxes filled and it's time for the study? She said, exactly. And I said, so do we help each other? I mean, do I have resources in place to help get that done? She said, exactly. We help each other. We have a was it daily or was it weekly? The PM meeting back then.
I think it was daily.
I think it was daily. And
Yeah.
so we all could talk about our studies and what we might have needed, and you can help each other out. That's what I was told. And when I started, I Ashley was the most help. The one who proved that point. She immediately was there, like calling or chatting me. How can I help you? Do you have any questions? I'd say, yeah, what the heck do I do about this? And I don't understand this. And she would walk me through it and help me so much. I've never really started work anywhere where someone was that helpful.
Thank you.
You just were there for everyone. Everyone in that company, I think, would agree that you were a huge help. So you helped me learn the job and its weird quirks and how to handle it and how to keep from losing my mind.
Yeah, I it's sort of crazy because honestly, like, I remember when you started and you had a question and we chatted about it, but it was like 1 minute it's like we just like became like work BFFs like overnight. Like I don't
I
even
know.
remember where it came from, but then we just talked all the time and continued our friendship. Um
That's
and
exactly how I remember it.
I
Yeah.
honestly don't remember exactly like
How
when it
it switched.
started. Yeah, it just sort of happened.
That's my exact memory as well. You were a
Yeah.
work colleague who could walk me through work things and
Yeah.
then flip. It was like, I want to talk to you about everything.
Yeah.
And we think the same about so much. I think part of it had to have been, I don't know, it was before that though. I was going to say we both became directors in that
Mhm.
company of our own division. Ashley became the director of the business division and I became director of the medical division. And that definitely put us in this new level of responsibility and stress and whatever. So I'm sure we had a lot to talk about then, but it was really before that that it
Yeah,
really, yeah, it was.
it was. And
It's
that was like I I think that was, like, over 4 years ago, which is insane too because it feels like yesterday that we worked with each other, to be honest with you.
I
So,
know.
it doesn't feel like it's been that long that we haven't worked with each other.
And it was the thing about that is everything I read about work, everything I read about happiness in general is that friends, relationships, long lasting, strong relationships are pretty much the key to happiness. And
Mhm.
at work, that's true too. And it hasn't been true for me very much. Like work tends to be work. And it's not like I don't have buddies. and people I like and people that I can relate to, but it's not the same. It's like it was a deep friendship, and even though it was built out of work, and I've never even seen your face.
I know, and we still need to get together. We just
We've got to get together. We
we
live, like, probably 6 hours away. I gotta
yeah,
get my butt in the
we
car and drive
talked about
north.
that, like, 5 years ago, and we have not done that, and also, like I said, I feel like it was yesterday that we were talking about it, but it's been, like, 5 years or something
It's
that we
too
had
long.
that conversation. I
Now,
know, it's
this is a
crazy.
good time for me to say, I have a new grandchild. I have
Yeah.
2 now. They are both south of me, so to drive north will take some self sacrifice, but I'm going to do it. I want to come
We're
see
gonna
you.
make it work. That should be our
Yeah,
goal.
yeah. We gotta meet in person and talk about all the things, in person.
Yes.
Okay, when we were in that company, we had oh, man, how do I wanna say this? We had lots of conversations about how we would do it if
Mhm.
we were running the show.
Yep.
And we would talk about starting our own thing. We were kind of joking, but hey, if we did this, how would we do it? And when would we say no to something
We
and stuff
did.
like that?
Yeah, we did joke about that a lot, actually.
We can we tell how we used to joke like if things would be stressful or hard, we would be like, if it doesn't get better by
Oh, yeah,
if it doesn't
the
get better by
holiday.
Memorial Day, I gotta quit. And then
Uh,
Memorial Day would come and go, and we'd be like, okay, if it doesn't get better by the 4th of July,
yes, that is very true. It had this industry in general has its ups and
exactly,
downs with their with
exactly.
the waves of the workload, and it can be a lot, especially in the beginning when you're just starting in the in the industry, it's a lot, because it's not a typical, at least that I know of,
It's not. It does.
job
It's its
situation.
own beast for
Yeah,
sure. And to the yeah to in defense of where we worked or any company in the and you would know better than anyone now that you're doing it yourself, but it's hard to manage the workload
yeah,
because you can think to yourself, I want everyone to only be at capacity where they can handle every project but you don't really know how hard and fast the work may come in, and so there's dead times, and that if you're a boss of several employees and there's not enough work for everyone, you're paying people to sit around, but then so you take what you can and then boom, everyone is a little bit over capacity is kind of how
yes.
it felt.
Yeah, I think
So
so for sure, and I can understand that now having my own company. I'm definitely more cautious with bringing people on because I don't want to be in that situation.
yeah.
And I'm also like, I also never want to overpromise clients. So I am very transparent with, first of all, before I take on any project, I always do my research about each project. I don't just say yes to everything that's handed over. Um, I I do research about it and to see like, if it's even feasible. Like I'm not gonna take on something that I just don't think I can do. And I'm very transparent about that. And also, if I'm at capacity or over capacity, I will also tell clients that too. Unfortunately, I do have to turn down projects sometimes, because there's just only so much I can take on at one point, or at one time. I do
Hmm.
have some clients though, which are my more like, consistent or uh, g- uh, consistent clients, and I have tried to turn down a project here or there, and
And
sometimes
they won't let you.
no, they don't let me, like, it's like I'm not sure how it happens, but I literally will say, like, "I don't think I can take this on," or, "I'm not sure if I can get these people that you need, but they somehow have more trust in me than I have in myself," and they're like, "Okay, we'll take it," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, I don't know how this just happened."
Have you ever won have you ever said no all the way to the end? Like, they say, "Please," and you say no, and they say, "Please, please," and you say and you really do say no?
Yeah, not
Not
usually if
much.
they get to
Yep.
the 2nd or 3rd, but I have had it a handful of times now where, like, I'm like, "I really can't take it on," and then they come back and they're like, "What if we do this? Can you
Oh
maybe
my
take it on then?"
gosh.
And
It's because you're so
I
awesome.
thank you. I
They
usually
know they love working with you. They
well,
know
you
how
usually
hard
take
you will
it on.
try.
Yes. I think they appreciate my transparency with everything. I do usually
Mhm.
take it on because, like, those clients, like, they're not just clients, they're partners, and we have this relationship, and so, I want them to be successful. Their success makes my success, right? So, I want them to do well as well. So I usually do work with them, but I am very, like, transparent with what I can and can't do because, like I said, I never wanna overpromise and then underdeliver. But yeah, there somehow I my husband will make fun of me because 'cause he'll be like, "I thought you were turning that down." And I'm like, "I thought I was too, but somehow I'm working on it tonight." So
It's like The Devil Wears Prada when she says she's gonna quit,
yeah.
and then the boyfriend comes home and she's still making the solar system for her boss's kids.
Yes, exactly.
So, just I hate when people talk I hate when things are too vague in the work world, like, job descriptions are so vague. It's like, "You're going to be in charge of structures and platforming and blah, blah," and no one knows what it means. So, could you describe a study that you might have turned down because it was so unique or tricky? Or you can mask it so it's not the exact but what just to tell my audience, this is the kind of thing I might get asked to look for that I might say no to because it's a little too would you be
Yeah.
willing?
Yeah. I'm actually working on a current project right now.
That you
Uh,
said no to?
yeah, that I sorta said no to, because of my capacity, but also because of my upcoming travel plans. I was honest about that,
Oh.
and, I didn't want to, um, take it's really hard for me to step away from work, and so I was really trying to be mindful of my workload with this special trip coming up with my daughter and my husband. But the client was fantastic about it. They were very understanding and still wanted to move forward, but respected my my time off, basically. So this one is a challenging one because we're taking people, so this is the same project where we're actually inviting people back from the
Oh,
past study. So half the study we're inviting past participants, back to, which it's actually I can't give much detail about what the study is about, but it is um, a very, popular topic, I guess, right now or industry, and honestly, I thought it was so cool that these participants were invited back because I personally thought, like, the pay was amazing. It's a
oh, cool.
90-minute virtual interview, and it pays $500.
90 minutes? $500?
Yeah, and you would
Whoa!
yes, you would think that so many people would be willing to sign up and do this study, but somehow it's still challenging with certain people in this industry.
Huh.
But I thought that was really exciting. So for the people that already did the study, they were more than happy to come back and do it because they know that we are legit and that, that's actually one of the hardest things with sort of getting off on another note. But one of the hardest things with this industry is finding new people to do the studies that aren't familiar about, like, this industry or that these opportunities
Mhm.
exist. They tend to be very skeptical, and I totally understand, especially because there's just so many scams out there. So it's really challenging to, sometimes find new people to do these studies because they are very hesitant about it.
Yeah.
But I will say one of my favorite things actually about my job is finding these people that haven't actually been in these studies before, persuading them or convincing them that it is a legit thing and that, they're gonna share their expertise or their opinions or insight. And then them participating and them usually coming back and telling me, like, how great of an experience it was and asking how they can be part of another study.
Yeah.
That's actually my favorite part with this industry. It's so rewarding to connect people, with these opportunities that they didn't know existed, and
Yeah.
then usually also, like, the companies or the clients just have such great interview sessions with these people too. So, anyways, that's a little,
I
off.
love that. I have a
But
fun story like that when since I started during COVID, I was looking through my spreadsheet, trying to find people who qualified for this consumer study of some sort. And one of the people, her profession was actor. And I'm such an easily starstruck person by that profession, and she qualified for the study, and so I put her in and asked her if she wanted to be in it. She did, and she was so grateful, and she's like, "I'm so thrilled this exists, this option, because we
Yeah.
actors are like, don't have work right now." And so she sent me more of her friends who were actors, and, she sent me one, she said, "You'll actually recognize him from things," because she felt like she was kind of new to it and might not be in thing, but it was so fun. It was so fun having my little actor friends and
It is, it's exciting because there's like what you mentioned earlier, there are people that are very familiar with these opportunities, and it's funny that going from one company to another to starting my own company that you recognize some of these names, which is just insane, like,
that is insane.
that they are just in so many different panels out there. Uh,
Remember when we had spreadsheets of aliases?
yes, yep.
It was like, this person is also this
And
person, who
it
is
has,
this
like, 20
person, who is
different
this person.
yeah, or, like, 5 different email addresses or
Yes.
yes, it's insane, so there's definitely those that are, do this as a side hustle, but there's a lot of people out there that just don't even know that this does exist, and those are the ones
Exactly.
that I'm excited. Honestly, I before I started working at the company that we met at, my first experience with market research was I was in college, and somehow I came across it, I don't know how, but it was for a hair removal study for women, and I went to this place and they gave each of us a product to try and to do like a questionnaire about after and then come back for a focus group. And the product that they gave me was an epilator. And back then, those were like $100 products. And I got to
Well,
keep it. So I got to try this product, keep it, and get paid for it. And I was in college and I was like, this is the most amazing thing ever. Like, I
did
was
they find
so
you in person? Like, they just waylaid you on the sidewalk?
I don't even
You
remember
don't
how
remember?
I
Because that's how
honestly
they used
don't
to do
remember
it.
yeah, I don't remember how I came across it because I didn't even know that these things existed, and I honestly don't remember how I came across it, but I just remember going to, this building, I think it was, a larger company that was doing it, and getting handed this product, and they're like, "Oh, you get to keep it," and I was like, just amazed by that alone, and then I got paid for it, and I was like, "This is the most amazing thing ever." So then when I came across the job description for the job that we met at, I was so excited to get into this industry because I was like, "I have experience with this, and this is a really cool thing."
That's cool. See, I was
So
like, I don't even know what this is, but I think I
yeah,
can
I only did
possibly
it
do it.
once, but I thought it was just so cool, and just such a fun
Where did you
experience.
find the job?
I came across it from this site called Hire My Mom.
Oh, yeah, Hire My Mom. That's another good one for
Which
people who
is
wanna work remote.
also that was the first time well, actually, I got a couple jobs off of there, but it was all, like, sorta in the same 2 or 3-month time frame, and I thought that was also one of the coolest, like, websites ever or
I
sites
know.
jobs because they were, like, very unique job opportunities or, it could be long term or it could be temporary. Like, one of the things that I did on there was this woman that sold items on Amazon, and she needed someone to write thank you cards and share product samples, and so, like, I literally,
Whoa.
as, like, a side job would send, thank you cards to people and share the
Writing thank you cards would be my dream
I
job.
know, and I
I'd be so
really
good at that.
was. I thought that was really cool. It was just such like, it was not a job you would ever think of, but also
Right.
I was raised to write thank you cards by my mom. So I was like, I just totally respected what this woman was trying to do. And so I did that just as a part-time thing too. But it was a really cool site because they had really different jobs out there that I didn't even know existed. And being a mom of four and just having a baby that last year, I just thought it was just so exciting to see, like, what type of opportunities were out there, that allowed, you to be at home and that flexibility. And so, yeah, that's where I
Yeah.
came across the company.
Okay, that's cool. I'm gonna link to both of those, Flex Jobs and Hire My Mom.
Yeah.
I kinda love the story of our VP at the company that we were at because she started just like you, had just had a baby, I think. or was going to have a baby, so
Yeah.
wanted to work from home and found this work from home job, sort of an assistant type role. And then by the time I got there, she was a freaking VP. So you never know what can come of these, is what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say. These little opportunities out there. Hire My Mom does tend to be not it doesn't tend to be full-time salary with benefits kind of jobs. It's a
No.
lot of part-time or contract or temporary, that kind of thing. But it is, if you just want to bring in some money to your household, but you want to stay home with your kids, definitely check it out. It does cost money to get to have all the benefits of it, but
Yeah.
it's worth it. It's worth it if you can find something like that. Yeah. Um, my daughter-in-law will kill me if I've never told her about Hire My Mom, actually. But
Check it out. I haven't
she
been
has a
on
great remote job, so
Yeah, I
it's
haven't
yeah.
been on the site in years now, but I thought it was a very, very cool, website that they had and
Yeah,
opportunities that they had out there. They have a lot of, like, small businesses too that are just starting, so it could be something too where, you might fall into a place where you grow with the company too, and you could also go from that
exactly.
assistant or smaller role to, a larger role with the company.
Yeah, that was another thing I was looking for when I found, the first market research job I got was a small company that maybe I could grow
Mhm.
with. Yep, I liked that idea. So what could you tell people, like, 3 really practical things you do almost every day? Like, this is literally what I'm doing?
What I do every day for work?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, we know you don't have hobbies. You wanna
yeah,
talk.
no, I don't have hobbies. Okay, so, well, while I'm finding participants for these studies, that I'm looking to fill, I'm always doing detective work because
Yeah. Good.
Part of my work is a detective because unfortunately we do get people that say that they are something that they're not, or they use products or services that they don't. And so we always do our due diligence to make sure that we're finding the right people, not only like articulate, but just honest, genuine people. Another thing too, it's constant relationship building, because it's not just with my clients, it's with participants too. I am constantly communicating, and just building that trust with people, whether it's a new client or a new, potential participant that is curious. Maybe I reached out to them and they give me a call to ask if I'm a legit company and a legit person, and sort of just building that trust and relationship. And then constant, like, just project management and customer service all
Mm,
around, I guess.
yeah.
I would say those are, like, just very consistent things that I do at work all the time.
Are you on the phone with people every day?
Yes, almost every day I'm on the phone.
Wow.
I have my own company, but I do have contractors too that help me with those calls, and just with work in general, so that helps tremendously.
Yeah.
But I do, talk to quite a few people, and then my emails are out of control again. My in
You need to hire me for that. I'm
That's
very
like
good at
that's
inbox
another
zero.
Yeah, that's another, like, just full-time job trying to keep that inbox at 0.
Well,
Um,
they say it's futile because as soon as you reply to someone and empty your inbox, they reply again. So you're basically feeding your own monster.
that's true.
You can never win, but I love it. I'm a big inbox zero person.
Yeah, I'm awful at that. I have to
Actually, I'm like an inbox 12 person. I'm going to have some emails in there.
Well, it's way better than mine is too embarrassing to share with you, but
6,000, 10,000.
it's way too many.
um,
But yeah, those I would say that is sort of like my everyday stuff that I do.
I feel like we've done really well at not talking too jargony, but market research is what the most jargony company I've ever worked in. The acronyms are out of this world. There's so many. And I've been in it since 2020 and still acronyms will be thrown at me that I don't know. And I was wondering, okay, the thing you're talking about where you kind of have to go prove that the person really is what they say. When
Uh-huh.
I was doing that, it seems like we called it POE, maybe proof of employment.
Yeah, I think that does sound familiar.
Okay. Well, I work with a company now that is was constantly telling me, "We're trying to get their COD, we're trying to get their COD." And I was like, what is that certificate of deposit? Like, what?" And I finally just asked because I love to do that, ask questions
Yeah.
that people think you know. Like, everyone just says these things and sometimes they don't even know what it means. Anyway, it was, confirmation of diagnosis. So it
Uh-huh.
was patients, with a rare disease, and they actually would try to get confirmation of that diagnosis somehow. So,
Okay.
yeah, jargon everywhere. So do you have acronyms in your company?
That's a good question. I don't think so,
You're
actually.
too real. You're so authentic.
Yeah, I don't think I do. I think
I love
I
it.
pretty much say what it
What you
is.
mean.
Yeah, exactly.
You say what you mean. Yeah, I love when there's an acronym everyone's throwing around, and when I ask what it means, no one knows. That's, like, my favorite thing. Like, "You
Yeah.
guys, why do we say it if we don't even know what it means?" Because what it means matters for what anyway, I think
Yeah.
it's hilarious the way people talk in business and don't even know what they're doing, but
Hmm.
okay, what can you name at least one thing about your work that matters, that's meaningful?
One thing that's meaningful about my work, well, I know that we've had this conversation before about,
What? Have you had to tell me this?
well, just like this industry and
I
like the
know.
types of, these larger companies looking to improve their services or their products, whether it's something that's really needed or just nice to have, I guess.
Mhm.
And so some of the topics of research that we recruit for I do find very meaningful, and I think I just find it really meaningful where others obviously are more just for companies trying to increase their revenue and stuff. But I will say, like, I still going back to like just people sharing their expertise or their insight. Um, I find that very meaningful still because I love the fact that people just that the regular person gets to voice their insight,
Yeah.
uh, and has that opportunity to share, to share in a safe safe space where it's welcomed, what could be improved or what they don't like or what they like about whether it's there's something with their job, maybe not necessarily like their actual job, but something, a service or a product that they use within their job or just as an everyday consumer. I think it's just really meaningful and really neat that people are invited to for this opportunity to share their insight, because most people don't get that opportunity, and most people only provide feedback usually if it's negative. Like, when you go to reviews, it's usually negative reviews. Not many people go out of their way to write positive things.
So
Um,
true.
and so I think it's just really neat with this industry how, you find people that have that opportunity to share their opinions, basically.
I love about you that you see that side of it. I can get kind of cynical about the industry, and I have, I'm sure, joked with you that it's just really rich companies trying to get richer by selling more of their stuff. But that's true what you're saying. It is honestly kind of what am I trying to say? You are theoretically thinking of the consumer when you ask for the consumer's opinion.
Yeah.
You are trying to understand how better to help them or I there was a time when I was kind of what would be an industry that just fits me, and I was kind of looking into publishing because I love books so much, and I talked to someone in the industry, and I said, "Hey, if there's anything out there, if you could find me a job in publishing," and she knew what I was doing in market research, and she said, "The truth is, publishing needs more market research." And
Uh-huh.
it's funny because I interviewed a guy in publishing a couple episodes ago, and he talked about how out of touch the publishing company can be with the average Joe. Um, just a little like they kind of can get on their high horse about what's important and what should be published. And then this book will come out of nowhere that was self published that readers soak up. And
Yep.
it's kind of like, well, you missed it, publishing company. Like, apparently that's what they wanted, And it's so,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think there's a lot of market research in that particular industry. And so it is, you're right. It's meaningful that to get
Yeah.
to give your thoughts.
I feel like companies are always still going to make their products or services because that's what their company is, right? So for them to invest
Yeah.
into, the everyday consumer's opinions or insight, I appreciate that about them, and like I said, I just think it's such a great opportunity for people out there, for the average Joe Smith, whoever,
Hmm.
to be able to share that because
Yeah.
you don't usually get that opportunity unless you're an angry customer that's going to write an angry review probably. So
Yeah.
so yeah.
It's so funny because I went through McDonald's recently, and there's so much they call me by name, but it's also because I use the app, which tells them my name. But
Yeah.
anyway, there's nothing so magical really to me as pulling up to a drive-thru and they're like, "Hi, Serenity, here's your burrito, your breakfast burrito." But anyway, they always ask if I want my receipt. I didn't, I pay through the app, so I really have a receipt there and stuff. And I usually say no. And one time just started chit chatting with the person because the line was long, whatever. She said, "They make us ask. They really want us to get it into people's hands because it's got that survey on it. But they don't understand. The only people who fill out restaurant surveys are mad." So it's like just what you said. It's like the
Yes.
only people who do it are typically negative. So why are you pushing it so
Yeah,
much?
they it unfortunately, I can be like that, but I'm trying to be more mindful, and when I have such a positive experience with someone, I actually do go out of my way now to
Look
write a
at you.
positive review because that is not that's just so rare. Like, people don't do that anymore, but also, like, for people to just really do their job well or just really make you feel appreciated as a person is also harder to come by, I feel like, and so I do want to acknowledge that when that does happen, so I am trying to be more mindful of that.
I
Um,
love that story so much.
but I do think
That's
people are much more willing to go and write out of anger than out of,
yeah.
in my
Yeah.
day happiness type of thing.
I love stories like that about how you can realize from your work this thing to do different in your life. I do that with work can be certain jobs you're getting questions all day and people being kind of in a hurry and
Mhm.
I always think to myself when I go to a workplace or I call customer service or something like this person I can make a difference on whether this person has a sucky day. Like
Yeah.
we're the reason. Like we're all the reason each other has bad days all the time. And so
Yeah.
if I can be a customer that is not making their day worse, wouldn't that be great? And what if everyone thought that way? Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and it
love that.
only like a moment out of your
A
life to do that.
moment.
And honestly, I sort of appreciate it more because since starting my own company, like I have reviews and stuff about my company and those people that take their time out of their day to write a positive review, especially because, like I said, like part of the challenge with this industry is trying to, convince people that aren't familiar with this industry to take this chance with these studies. And so, those reviews that we receive like mean the world to us. And um, so I want to sort of do the same thing for other
I
people.
love that. I've heard some stories about people from listening to this podcast. It makes my like heart explode that people are even listening. But then when they'll tell me I did this or that, or I thought this or that because of what you was on your
Mhm.
podcast, I'm hoping people will go write an awesome review on something after they hear this. Like, let's just like flood good companies with good reviews after this episode. Everybody go write one. It'd be so
That'd
cool.
be awesome.
Um, okay, so this is where I want to go next if you're willing to and just talk about it as much as you're willing
Mhm.
or as vague as you want. And also remember that I can cut anything you wish you
Okay.
hadn't said. But I love a quitting story just because I personally think it's good for us all to know how to know when we should quit something and how to quit something well, etc. And
Mhm.
you have a quitting story from the company that we shared together.
Yes.
And what I what are you willing to tell us about that? How did the idea evolve that you might need to go or want to go do something else?
Yeah, so I'm a very honest person, which can be a good thing and a bad thing because it's hard for me
Not
to
for me, it's all good.
not be very, just it's hard for me not to be honest. Okay, so, um, we met at the same company, and I was one of the first people there. Not quite, but, one of the beginning people, I
For
guess.
sure.
And I worked really hard at that company. What I realized about myself, honestly, these last, I don't know, 8 or 10 years is that, I always just put in my all into everything that I do with work, whether it's my company or somebody else's company. So I felt like I worked really hard at that company. I was really appreciated, or I really appreciated the opportunity, especially being, not having much work history, but some here and there. Just to go back, I graduated with a marketing degree, but I found out I was pregnant also my senior year of college.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
so I had my daughter, my husband was in the military, so we moved, and I never really had the opportunity to use or to work basically. So I had that time off in between college and working with raising my children. So I was always really appreciative of, anyone taking the chance of hiring me because I didn't have much experience. But I did always feel confident that if someone just took the chance to hire me that they, wouldn't regret it because I put everything into my work.
Mhm. Is that
Um
not the truth? I want my resume to say, "Try me, I can do
yes.
it." That's
Yeah.
what I want my whole resume to say.
Yes,
Just try me,
exactly.
I can do it.
I
Anyway.
think you can definitely teach, for the most part, skills and what's out there, but, you just have to have that drive or that I don't know. Anyways, so I started there and they grew really fast like we spoke about, and I loved it. It was exciting. It could be challenging at times because the workload could get pretty heavy. I made some really great, friendships there. And I loved working there. It was great overall. But to be honest with you, I just felt like I was never valued as much as
Mm,
others. We did form friendships, and it came to my attention many times that other people that were coming in newer were getting paid more. And
mhm,
that was really hard for me to accept because I felt like I, worked really hard and did the best that I could with everything, and, I just felt undervalued a lot,
yeah.
with the amount of work that I put into the job. So long story short, one of the clients that we recruited for was actually opening up a new position at their company. And they asked me if I wanted to interview for it because of their experience working with me. And so I took the chance and I did the interview, and they offered me the position there. It was really tough, actually. I am not good with change. I am all about comfort and just, I'm not a risk taker, so it was a really tough decision for me. Also, like, I loved the people that I worked with, like, my, immediate group of people that
Mhm,
and so it was a really hard, to take that leap and take that chance and leave. But I ultimately, it was a new opportunity. Um, I felt very valued from that company from the moment I interviewed with them. I was given an offer, and for
I
the
love
first
this
time
story.
ever, I actually negotiated
You
for more,
negotiated!
and I did research on it, and, for anyone listening, like, women do not negotiate usually. It's usually
Mhm,
men. For whatever reason, women do not feel comfortable doing that, or they probably just feel appreciated like I did just taking on somebody to just hire them, like, that's good enough.
mhm.
But I really Like, I did research and I mentally prepared myself and tried to build
Gosh,
that
I remember
confidence.
that so
I
well.
and I negotiated it, and they accepted it, and I was so proud of myself. Like, it was the it
I
was
was so proud of
I
you
was
too. That
so
was the
proud, and it was such a great feeling starting with that company too, because I felt so valued before I even started, because I was like, "Wow, they are willing to pay me more because they really want me here." You know what I mean? Like, you
Mhm.
just go into that job feeling so good about yourself, and you wanna do your best. Like, I've always done my best, but it's like you wanna do just as I don't even know if there's beyond, as well as I was doing before, but I definitely did not want to lose that opportunity. Like, I wanted to show my appreciation for them and just show how much I wanted to be there. So that was really exciting for me.
Yeah.
And that's basically, I guess, my quitting story.
Yeah.
It was tough, like I said, because
It was I can vouch for this. You're not lying when you say you did like that job. There
yeah,
was a lot that you liked about it.
yeah,
Yeah.
I had a lot of conversations with you about it, and it was hard, and it's always hard to, like, tell any company that you're leaving. Like, you just sort of feel like this guilt, and,
Mm.
even if you really shouldn't feel guilty, I
Yeah.
feel like you just have this guilt for some reason. But I will say, like, I, felt very appreciated and valued at this new company from the moment that they thought of me for the role to, willing to hear my, negotiation with the offer, and then, actually accepting it. And it was a very neat experience in my life. And it was such a great experience because it made me become who I am now, because I will never go back to the way that I was ever. So I will never
What do you mean? You will
uh
never
I will never go back to working for someone else as hard as I did, and sacrificing as much time that I
Mhm.
did with my family, um and for a job. Like, for a job that's not even your company. You know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah.
just um I
I
just
always think people who are salaried, which I don't think you were you? That
No, and I sorta negotiated that too, because
for good reason.
yeah, uh-huh. I didn't I yeah, the salary thing is that's a tough thing, I feel like, in our country,
I
because
do too.
I feel like so many people can get taken advantage of
Yeah.
with salary. Like, the salary is really nice because you just know that you're gonna get that constant, consistent paycheck, but companies that think that because your salary that you're gonna work 50 hours a week,
Mhm.
I I just it's just not acceptable.
I
But
agree.
but it's like
I think people who are salaried should if and they're working overtime a lot. Like, for
Mhm.
one thing, clock it for real to see if you really are, because
Yes.
sometimes we don't manage our time that well, and so we think we're working a lot more than we are. But if you clock it and you figure out, "Yeah, I really am working well over 40 hours," then divide that by your salary, or vice versa. I
Yeah.
don't think I'm saying that math right. So that you can figure out how much you're making per hour, because it's not going to be worth it.
Yeah.
And you're not, yeah. So I just think people just do it because they're good employees, they're good workers. I talked to someone once who said, I was hired to do a job, and so I have to get that job done, period, no matter how many hours it takes me. And I said, but you must have some boundaries because if the job is taking you far more than 40 hours every single week, I'm not sure your job is allocated correctly or something is not
Yeah.
right to me.
Well,
But
yeah, and honestly, that is when I said, like, I would never go back to the way that I was, like, that is something if I ever worked for a company now, and I was salary, I would put my foot down if I needed to, if I was consistently working well over 40 hours a week every week, because I just don't think it's okay. And also, though, I will say, like, my last job that I did work at, like, they were not like, we did not work, you know, crazy hours or anything. So not all companies are like
No.
that.
Yeah, agree.
There are companies that respect, you know, you working having a work-life balance. But there are definitely companies out there too that take advantage of it, and I don't know
Yeah.
if they just don't. I think some don't even recognize it maybe, and then there's others that just don't really care, or I'm not really sure what the case is.
I don't either. I do think it's really cool that what you're saying is how you will change or how you that when I had an episode with Carrie Gaines that I would recommend everyone listen to, it's so good. She talked about this that if you're working, reading emails in the evening, et cetera, is it really that you're being asked to, or are you
Mhm.
possibly overproducing based on your assumptions that maybe aren't true? And I would say like the company I'm not a W-2 employee. I'm contract. I really kind of love that for many reasons, but the company I work with right now, I feel is very respectful typically of normal working hours and holidays and things like that. But I still see people wildly overworking because it's kind of about the person in
Yeah,
some ways
it is.
and
I think
sometimes.
it is, and I think it's like I think it could be that you're like, that fear of you losing your job or that,
Yes.
you know, people might not think that you appreciate it or whatever the case too, it may be something that contributes to that, but I feel like so, like I said, I'm a very transparent person, so after I left the company, I was actually let go, from my other company, I was laid off, and so one of
Not because of your
not because
performance
of my
at
performance,
all.
no,
Right.
actually, the company that laid me off is now my biggest client, and so we have an amazing partnership, and it worked out for everyone in such a positive way, so it was definitely not my performance, they were having their own, financial or
Right.
issues with the economy and stuff like that and had a slow time, but it all worked out well, but my point is that, I realized that everyone is replaceable, unfortunately, like, and,
Oof.
it doesn't matter, like, how much you really put into the company, um, or how long you've been there, like, the company is gonna have to do what's best for the company, and so, everyone is replaceable, unfortunately, so you just have to do what is best for you. Like, you have to voice where when you're not feeling valued, or you have to take the step you have to leave if aren't
Yeah.
being treated fairly or whatever. And you just have to do what's best for you because it's not, um the work industry, it doesn't seem to be like what it used to be like, and I haven't lived this, but just, stories from grandparents or just elderly people, like, that you could work at a company for 30 years and retire. That doesn't seem to be the case as much nowadays.
Yeah.
So you have to just do what's best for you. And also, like, everyone has their own idea of what work-life balance is. Not everyone, respects that or understands that, and it may be because they have different priorities. Some people have large families, some people have no kids. Whatever the case may be, everyone has different thoughts with that, but you have to be able to make it clear of what your work-life balance is, I guess.
Absolutely. That's really good.
Yeah.
So that answers the question how you started your own thing. Is the
Yeah.
company had to make some financial decisions? Did they say to you, "Hey, but we would contract," or did you first come up with the idea to have your company and then
So
you reached out to them?
Yeah, so unfortunately my role at that company was more of a nice to have role, so I was like a recruiting coordinator, so what I did was I would actually, like, sorta manage the recruiting vendors to make sure that they were getting the people that we needed, meeting those quotas, making sure that just making sure that the recruitment was successful with every project, and sometimes I would actually have to recruit myself if the recruiter wasn't able to fill it. But it was more of a nice to have. It wasn't really a needed, or crucial, role there. So unfortunately, I was let go, but it was in a very respectful way, and I left on a positive note. Ironically, like 2 weeks after I was let go, they actually reached out to me to ask if I wanted to contract, for a
Wow.
project because they got, a new project came in, and then because of them laying off people, they didn't have the capacity, and so I was like, "Sure, I'll help," and,
In the
uh
exact same type of role, you were
yeah,
gonna
it was
be the
literally the same
okay.
role. I
Interesting.
ended up contracting and actually making more as a contractor because you usually make more financially, but I didn't have the benefits. But honestly, that was okay with me because my husband
Mhm,
worked time, so we use his benefits anyways, like health insurance and stuff.
mhm.
So it worked out well. But in the meantime, I was trying to figure out what I should do because we recently moved, and so we moved into a larger home with our family, and so I sort of relied on my income now, and so I needed to find something. And my husband, even when I was working at that company, was always like, "You should start your own company. You would be so great at it. You should do it." And I was like, "No way." And I was like, "This is my dream job. I love it here." I'm not a risk taker. I didn't wanna take that chance.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so I didn't have a job, and so I felt like it was the perfect time to do it. I had nothing to lose, right? So I decided to start my own company. And also, this is a little off topic, but I live in Minnesota, and so Minnesota has this program for unemployment where they actually will still support you with unemployment while starting your own company. So usually when you're doing unemployment, you have to show that you're looking for a job. They have this program, I think it's called Climb or something, Climb program,
Oh,
where
I
if you
love it.
show that you're, working on your company, like that you're building a website and you're, finding customers or clients, that you still get that full, unemployment,
Oh
income.
my gosh, I
And
love it.
yeah, so it was a very supportive, program, and so I was like, "I really have nothing to lose because 'cause I'm still getting, unemployment while I'm able to focus on building my company." So that was a really neat situation. And so my husband was really the one that encouraged me to just take the leap. He believed in me a long time before I believed in myself. And just was having him in the corner, just being so confident, made a huge difference with me taking that leap. And so all the summer, 2 years ago, actually, during that entire summer, I worked on, trying to figure out a name for my company and registering it and building a website and all that fun stuff. And so it sort of consumed my summer. But it kicked off pretty fast when I launched. My old company found out that I just launched my company, and they basically gave me a project, like,
Oh
I
my
think
gosh.
in a week or 2 of launching. It was pretty quick. I wasn't really prepared for it. And then I had some other, clients come in too, and so it actually kicked off much faster than I expected. The beginning was very hard because it kicked off so fast, and also because I wasn't 100% confident in myself. I was so worried that I was gonna take on projects that I couldn't fill, that and
Mm.
I had so much stress on my I just was so stressed because I didn't wanna let anyone down. And so it was really hard, the first 6 months, just taking the chance of taking on projects, still trying to, perfect things or getting things right with just documentations and, just everything with it. But yeah, so the first 6 months were pretty crazy. And that's sorta how it took off.
I love this story for so many reasons. First of all, when you said you're not a risk taker, we used to talk about that all the time. Neither of us is a risk taker, really. And I wrote this whole blog post basically inspired by you when, you did start your company, and the blog post was tongue in cheek, it was sarcastic, but it was, "I'm starting a business, and it's
Yeah,
called Think Again, and we will take your creative ideas and random ideas you get in the shower, and we'll measure it against, like, the price of eggs and
yes,
fear and your realist family members and self-employment taxes, and we'll shut it down. Like,
yeah,
that's what we're gonna do, shut down your ideas, because we're like, our risk analysis is 100% guaranteed to crush your dreams or your money back." That was my blog. Unfortunately, some people took me seriously, they really thought I'd started a business, but
yes.
I just like we were so good at it. We were so good at shutting down our own ideas, and yet you did it. And so the other thing I love is this is a theme in my life that I keep seeing in all advice that I read in these many happiness and work type books that I read, is that you change by doing, not by thinking. Like, you couldn't think your way into knowing you were gonna totally nail it at that job. You had to take the jobs, take the
Yeah,
projects you were scared to take, and do it, and you did it, and you got through those 6 months that were hard, and
thank
you're
you.
still there. You're still running this awesome company.
I know, I can't believe it's been 2 years.
I
Yes,
can't either.
flown by. But yeah, you're right, you really can't overthink it because you don't know what's gonna happen or what to expect, with it, and it's weird because, now and, even though it's been almost 2 years, like, now I don't really have to think twice with taking on a project, like, I really know, like, what I'm capable of doing and what I'm not capable or what maybe I wouldn't say what I'm not capable of, but maybe I'm just not as maybe I haven't taken on that exact study or those specific types of people, which, like I said, I'm just very transparent with clients about, but yeah, I never would've, like, expected when we met that I would be in this position now.
I I love it. What you've kinda talked about what you love about it and the things, like, that you will never do again. Is there anything you miss about working for someone else? I mean, I'm
No.
hoping your answer is no. Excellent, really?
Yeah, I'm, like, thinking about it, and I'm like, "No," because,
Oh.
I love the flexibility of my job, like, being available for my children, like, my
Mm.
when they got out of school, they were all in sports, summer camps, and I didn't have to ask permission to take them to and from to camp, or me going on this vacation with my daughter, like, I don't have to ask permission or have that weight on my shoulder, if my boss is gonna be okay with it. I also work all hours of the day, which I need to actually probably not do as much, but I
I've
also
heard that's a problem with starting
yeah,
a company and doing
yeah,
work that you enjoy.
but I like that flexibility though too, because if I feel like I just need a break mentally or I just wanna spend time with my family in midday, I can do that.
Yeah,
So, I don't think so. I
I love it.
honestly don't think I miss it at all. Yeah, I don't think so.
Can you think of some questions people should ask themselves if they are considering starting their own thing?
I I can okay, I'm not sure if I can have specific questions, but I can see where, some people may prefer to not have their own company and stay at a typical job because, like I said, I do work all hours sometimes, and for that, that might be challenging for some people, like, if you truly wanna work, like, a 9 to 5 job, I think that could be challenging having your own business, especially in the beginning. Maybe eventually I'll be able to have more of that lifestyle, but in the beginning, like, you can expect to work some crazy hours sometimes.
Good
Uh,
point.
so I guess that's something to think about if you're thinking about starting your own company. I guess it's really like what do you need to prioritize? Like if you're, someone that like I am fortunate that I'm married to my husband and he has great health insurance, right? So I don't really have to worry about that.
Yeah.
But some people may have that some people that may be a priority for them. So, I guess it's really like what are your priorities with not
Yeah.
only just income, but just benefits and
Yeah,
just your
I think
work balance.
benefits is such an important conversation in this country
Yes.
with work. I think in many cases we work for benefits more than money. And I got lucky that when I wanted to move remote. So the job I was in, um, I knew the exact like monetary value of the benefits of the health insurance and life insurance because of the type of job I had. That was just information I was privy to. It was like $19,000 a year that I was making in benefits.
Okay.
Now, in my head, and so I flipped because at first, just knowing that, I kind of wanted to change jobs, but I would tell myself, but I don't just need to replace my salary. I need to replace those $19,000
Yeah.
somehow, either in money or benefits. And then I got a job that did have much fewer benefits, but more money in my paycheck each month. And I had the insurance through my husband. And so what I found is, yeah, I like the dollars better in my paycheck.
Yeah.
I can see them and I know what to do with them. And,
Yeah.
I just prefer, and it worked. I preferred it and it worked better, at least for that season of our lives. And so you really do have to not forget benefits no matter
Mhm.
any decision you're making about work in this country. You got to think
Definitely.
about it.
My husband he actually is starting a new job in a couple weeks, but while he was interviewing at different companies, he actually received a couple different offers, which was very exciting for him. But it's funny because for him, it was really like, let's compare benefits. Like what makes
Wow.
sense? Because we heavily, rely on his benefits with like my son has really severe food allergies and asthma. And so we have to see a pulmonologist and he's starting this new food allergy treatment program. And so the benefits were just as important as income. And
Yeah.
so it was a huge thing in making a decision on which way he wanted to move forward. Also, besides health benefits, honestly, PTO is another thing that was huge because we
You like
like
to
I said, we like to
travel.
travel, yeah, and so, having that time off it makes a huge difference, like, there's companies out there where you only get 1 or 2 weeks a year, versus 3 or 4 weeks or whatever's out there, and so that's a big thing too. So, I think for anyone that's just, thinking if they should start a company or just, find work for a company, you really just have to figure out what your priorities are as far as just benefits, work-life balance, The cool thing with having your own company is it is sorta, like, limitless with what you can do, if you have that drive.
Yeah.
Um, so
That's what I love about it. It's
yeah, so
kind of
there's a lot of
limitless.
yeah, there's a lot of, opportunity out there, but I think it really depends on what you want to do, and what you
Yeah.
prioritize.
Great points. I want to name two different kind of work philosophies and see if you lean towards one or the other or if you have your own.
Okay.
So the first one is find what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. So that's one flaw. So make sure you do work that you love. Or another one, hardly anyone gets to have a job that's meaningful to them and you should instead find work that pays for the life you want to live. So
Okay.
those are kind of two opposing ones. There's probably a billion others.
Yeah.
How would you describe your work philosophy?
That's a really hard one, actually.
It is? I thought you'd be
So
like, "Oh, it's this."
it's so
Let's see if I
tough.
can what do
Um,
I think that yours is? I know you pretty well.
yeah, I don't know though, that's so hard because I feel like if you find something that you love to where you don't feel like you work a day in your life, like, does that take away, though, other things? So, for example,
Mhm.
being able to take my daughter to Japan next week, like, is that gonna take away
Right.
those you know, opportunities. Um, but then also like to make the second philosophy to where like, you're not gonna like your job, but at least you make enough income. I guess it really depends too, like and it's probably looking too deep into it, but like how much am I putting myself into this job? You know what I mean? Like I guess for both philosophies, like is this like a 40-hour work week or is this more? I don't know. I'm actually very torn with this.
So this is reminding me of the time I don't think you were there. Were you at the happy hour we had at I'll call it FI, when Kelly asked everyone, "Would you rather have a job that you love, um, but you get to see a job that you tolerate, but you get to quit when you're 55, or a job you love and you can't quit till you're 70?" And we all said, "Love. I want the job I love, and I'll do it till I'm 70." And then I went to bed that night and I was thinking to myself, I am such a freaking liar. Or else I would like, I don't make finding a job I love the most important thing in the world because I have stayed in many jobs that I did not love enough to stay till 70 kind of thing. So
Yeah.
I'm such a liar. But I talked to my son, my lawyer son, so he has a very logical mind, and he said, but those aren't the only 2 options. So, I mean, you're not a liar. Like, there's many other options in the world. Like, you're working a job that is okay for this season, but maybe you will try to find a different thing later. Like,
Yeah,
it's
I guess. Yeah, that's true. And I guess that's like it's very like black and white where there's so much more gray
yes.
in just with work in general. I think that's why it's very hard for me to answer that because it is like one way or another. And I feel like you can find an in between where maybe you don't love your job, but you're comfortable with it,
Mhm.
but
The
you can
good enough
still
job.
yeah, but you can still live the lifestyle that you wanna live. I can tell you this much, I definitely don't want to have a job that I hate and dread to live my lifestyle. That is something I don't want
Excellent.
at all. But if I'm comfortable and I can still, maybe I don't love it, but I can still have this lifestyle that creates memories and that I get to live life still, I think I would go with in that direction.
Love
Um,
it.
I guess.
Yeah.
And
There's actually a book called The Good Enough Job that says exactly that, and I think that's probably explains your philosophy really well. I would also say you said earlier, you have always had work that your family it will not interfere with your family
yes,
life. Yeah,
yes,
so
that's very true.
you yeah, you definitely think of it that way too.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about something your past understanding of work and what you're gonna talk to your kids about jobs and stuff, but, I don't, wanna go too long. I wanna have you back sometime too, and we'll talk even more. So, I think I'm gonna save some of that.
Okay.
Um, um, talk for a second to your target audience, like, people you would love to work with, and tell who are they, and how do they find you?
Okay, are you talking specifically for, like, clients or
Either
for
way,
employees?
are you looking for more clients, and so you kinda wanna talk to that, or do you wanna talk to respondents?
Oh, okay. Well, I would say both.
Okay,
Like, for clients, like, basically any type of researcher or company that's looking for participants for their research studies, like, I'd love to help them out. We do specialize in recruiting, like, professionals, but also just consumer studies and niche audiences for specifically qualitative, research across the country. And I'm always looking to build partnerships with clients. So you can definitely our website insightrecruit.com. There's a form that you can fill out if you want to reach out to us.
perfect.
And then for participants or potential participants. So anyone that enjoys like sharing their opinions or professional experience or expertise, we do have these paid research studies. Our studies are always paid too. And so you're compensated for your time and for your insights. And so you can actually also go to our website, insightrecruit.com, and there's a link that you click on to do a really brief survey. I've taken it myself to test it, and it takes less than a minute.
Excellent.
And you can basically join our panel that way. We also have a fake Facebook page and a LinkedIn page. But and then you can always connect with me on LinkedIn too for either clients or future participants. But I would definitely check out the website for either or.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yay. I hope we get you some I don't know if I hope we get you some business. I may never talk to you again if you get more business.
I'll always find time to talk to you. It just
And
isn't
already, like, that
uh,
last section we talked about, we need to talk more about offline because I just need to really hash that out with you about loving jobs or not loving jobs and when you should leave and la la la. I have so many thoughts, you know.
for sure.
So I do want her to get more business, everyone, but not so much that I can't have my friends. So just just
I'll
p
put that in
and
my
but
emails.
apparently I
I'll
need
add
to help you
capacity.
say no.
I know that's true. It's pretty comical when I do try to say no sometimes.
It's pretty comical. Oh my gosh.
So,
Um,
yes, it happens.
what okay, so I told you that we were gonna talk about this. What I like to do a section called "It Worked for Me," where you have a recommendation for an aha moment in your life or regular things that help you find meaning in life.
Did we talk about this right before we started this call? Sort of.
Yes, and you said, "I actually need someone to tell
I
me."
was okay. I was like, I think yeah, I was like, I don't know how to answer that because that I don't have an answer to that yet. I'm still working on that for myself. I need to what I
I love
told
this
somebody
answer.
earlier was, I need to actually work on things for myself. So, one of the things that I do is I like to work in my kitchen because my kids are on summer break. And so I like to be available for them or just be around when they're, coming in for a snack or they're having lunch or they're watching a movie in the living room or I just like to be there. Um, b- so it's a blessing that I'm able to do that, but also it's not because I also don't know how to step away from work. My husband's insisting that I go back into the office because he says that I need to leave my work in the office. And so that is, unfortunately, something that I'm trying to work on for myself. M- just being so committed to my company and doing the best that I can, I tend to have a hard time walking away when I need to. And so that's something that I'm trying to work on for myself.
So I want if you try that, I want you to report back because I
Yeah.
could imagine it going both ways. I could imagine you saying, "Yeah, he was right. I needed to compartmentalize a little bit." I could also imagine you saying, "No, the reason I work in the kitchen is so that the thing most important to me, how my kids are doing, is right in my face and I'm there for them." So I could see it going either way because the
I think
truth
it's gonna
is
go the second way more so than the
you
first.
you think you'll go the second way?
I think the second way, I think it's like I think it's gonna because I just know myself, I think it's gonna still be hard for me to walk away, but I
Yeah.
just won't be as visible to
Yeah.
anyone.
I
I'll
know.
be in the corner of my house in my office, but I don't know, I really do wanna work on it. It's something that, especially now that we're going on, 2 years and it's not as new, but, I do need to have more boundaries, I guess, with it, and so that's my goal. But I will definitely keep you posted on it. So,
Yeah, keep me
like,
posted.
won't have an aha moment. I could use recommendations and advice from other people, I guess, instead of
Beautiful.
sharing it with you because I don't
Okay, everyone, you have heard like one of my favorite people on the planet just talk about a lot of things. If you have advice for her about finding more meaning, but I have to say, Ashley, the thing that you did teach us the whole time as you were talking here, for one thing, is how to find meaning in your work. I mean, you've you find meaning in the work, which is
yeah.
great. And I mean, more than I'm able to in many ways. And then you also, like, as we've said, you definitely have your priorities straight about what you care about most, which is your family, and you make the work work for that. So
Yeah,
you
that's
do
thank you.
have much meaning in your life. But I love the way you answered that. Is that not the truth? I met this person once. She was a single mom, 3-year-old son. Well, 3-ish, he was 3 and good at it, as they say. And he was kind of throwing a little fit or something while my mom was trying to talk to her. And she said to my mom, um, pardon me, we're working on this about the kids that fit or whatever.
Yeah,
And my mom, we just turned that into like a lesson for life. Like that's so brilliant to not apologize for everything we are and that exists in our children. We're working on this. Like that's our whole motto for humanity. We're
yeah.
working on it. We're working on it. None of us have it all down. And that's what you said. You're like, I actually I need to work on this. And I
No,
think that's
I totally
brilliant.
agree. I think that, I definitely think if you can recognize it, and to just be mindful of it. So, it's
Yeah.
hard to change who you are, but you can definitely, you know,
Oh,
be
it's hard
mindful
to change who you are. So
and
true.
more aware. So that's what I'm gonna try to do.
Okay. I want to end with this story that I love. I mean, even though it's because I think I'm so funny, but it's because I think you're so wonderful too. I want to tell a story about a time. So you were in communication with someone about a partnership, and I was trying to talk you into being a bit more demanding. And I said to you, you need to say what you need and don't apologize. Just say it and then sign off. That's how special I am. Ashley.
I remember
Do you
that
remember?
conversation. Yes, uh-huh.
And I mean, I'm such a big talker. I would never sign an email that way, but that's how I feel about you. Like, you're just that special that you should be able to just make your demands.
Well, thank
And
you, but I did learn something from that conversation, and we spoke
what?
about that earlier for just a moment, but I really do try to it was really easy for me to say, "Oh, I'm so sorry," or, "Oh, I apologize about that," or whatever, but I, am very mindful about that now, so I try to avoid saying
Oh,
since that conversation and still be respectful and polite about it, but not
yeah.
necessarily apologizing for everything unless
Oh
I
my God.
truly
I imparted wisdom
Yes, yes,
about work.
yeah, I have been mindful about that ever since
That's
that
really
conversation.
cool.
So yes,
No,
I
that's
do
true.
remember that you said
That's how
that was
special I
like
am.
a tough moment too for me, and we just laughed about it, and it just meant so much. So,
The laughing is my favorite part of our conversations. I Laughter is seriously medicine, and I get this major boost every time I talk to you. Um, yeah, for everyone, apologizing, it's not me saying Ashley and I are not saying do not be a respectful person, a person who owns up to your mistakes, nothing like that. But truly, the words "I'm sorry" can be off-putting. They do not show confidence, and they really don't help anyone most of the time in at work, especially in a work setting. And
yes,
the science will tell you it is better to say, like, instead of "I'm so sorry I was late," it's "Thank you for your patience."
yes,
You just turn it around into just this confident thing. Or instead of, sometimes if someone catches a mistake, it's that I made in a document or something, it's "Thanks for catching that. I have fixed it." It's just "Thanks for catching it. Let's move on." It's not a
yes.
big, so
Yeah, and
there
if
you
you do that, there's actually I've come across on, like, LinkedIn and other things, but there's you can probably just Google it, but there's, like, sorta just recommendations of things like what Serenity said, like, if you're running late to say, "Thanks for your patience," and there's other similar situations that sorta just help you, I
yeah.
guess, change up what you're trying to say, without saying that you're sorry, and
Yeah.
eventually it becomes natural to you over time.
Exactly. That's one thing I love is we get so used to how we say things,
Yep.
and we don't even think about whether they're one time I bumped into a friend, at a store, and she said "pardon" or "pardon me" to someone as they and she told me, she said, "I'm trying to say pardon now instead of excuse me." And
Mhm.
she didn't explain why. It In the moment, I guess it just seemed obvious that it seemed nicer to say pardon. I don't know. But I was thinking, "Oh my gosh, I could never do that." And then I just decided to test it. Like, I'm
Yeah.
just gonna see if I could change the way I do that, just to see if I'm capable of change. And I totally say pardon now. I never say excuse me. I always say pardon. Even if the other person says excuse me, I say, "Oh, pardon."
Yeah,
And
it just
I
becomes
don't it's not
natural.
that one's better than the other. I was just so proud to learn we can change.
Yeah,
We can
that's
change a
very
habit. So, okay, so I thank you so much for squeezing me in your
you're welcome.
very, very busy,
Your patience. I'm sorry
life.
it took so long, so no
You
problem.
just said, "I'm sorry,
No,
Ashley."
I meant it though. That is
No.
true sorry that I meant because
Oh,
I think I found the email that you wrote me, I think in May is when you reached out about this, and it's already July. So I am truly sorry that it took this long. But I had so much fun chatting with you, like always, and I would love to come back if you ever wanna
yay.
do the chat.
Actually, it If it was May, I'm sorry because I wanted you on this show from before I even, like, started the show, so I should have written to you
Oh,
last
no,
winter.
we spoke about it
Okay,
before.
okay.
We talked
It's
about it
like I
way
feel like I
before,
landed a
but
famous person.
yeah, but no, it was official in May when you're like, "Alright, I want you on, and here's some, things we can
Yeah.
talk about," but, yeah, you've been talking about this idea for a while, and I'm so happy that you went with it because it's natural for you. It's
Thank
perfect.
you so much.
Of course, you're welcome.
Alright, have a fabulous night, and, we'll talk more off microphones.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.